Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video I'm going to be going over my second deck that I will be taking to ProQuest with my Tiger Katsu deck tech. I wanted to kind of just talk it over, kind of give you all my thoughts on it, some minor changes I've made since my last deck tech. Really been honing in on some things that I think are really useful. Definitely a deck I'm going to be taking to ProQuest season between that and Arachne. Arachne is still like the main one I've been having fun with, but I've been testing both of these decks equally. And really, when it comes to the first ProQuest, it's going to depend on like what I'm having the most fun with that week. But regardless, I'm going to take both of these to a ProQuest and show you my results and stuff like that. But this is my Tiger Katsu deck, with the exception of my equipment, which I'll show here in a second, in the main board. Pretty simple. The point of this deck is honestly to facilitate a good Roar the Tiger, predatory streak, Art of War turn, something along those lines, and then weaving in other cards in here in order to make the deck very, very, very good. When it comes to basically, if your opponent blocks him properly, if you're not Oldheim or Controlled Ash or someone who can really, or Icelander, someone who can really slow your power turn down, and you're just like a normal, like one of the any other deck really in the format, if you block that turn improperly, the game's pretty much over. I've OTK'd people turn one, quite literally OTK'd someone turn one with this deck because they decided to block him properly. So it is possible. I've done over 40 damage with this deck in one turn. Not consistently, but I have done it. But yeah, regardless, we'll get right into it. I'll talk about, excuse me, I have a cough. I've gained over COVID for the third time this year. It's been great. I'll kind of go over my choices, what I'm thinking, why I did a couple of things that I did, and go from there. So with the main board equipment, the only thing I couldn't really lay out in the way I wanted to lay out here is obviously we have two Gadachis. We have Mask Momentum, Findel Spring Tunic, Breaking Skills, and Snapdragon Scalers. So pretty common there. When it comes to some of my choices, one, when it comes to Mask of Momentum versus Mask of Pouncing Links, I like Mask of Momentum, and I'll kind of tell you why when it comes to the swing turn. I'll kind of give my reasoning for that here in a second, but Mask of Pouncing Links definitely is a viable option. Tunic, kind of enough said there, nothing too crazy. You could run Blossom of Spring, but the way that I play Katsu, like a lot of times my games do go like 3 to 6 turns. I'd say 3 turns is the minimum. So regardless, even when I don't have Blossom of Spring on turn 1 or 2, it hasn't really stopped me from doing what I want to do. Breaking Skills, again, this one over Shuko is very contested right now in the community with Katsu. Some people are running Shuko, some people are running Scales. I run Scales. I'll tell you why when it start discussing the combo turn. And then obviously Snapdragon Scaler is pretty standard there. So first off, over here we have our starters / good red attacks. So for our starters, we have Double Strike up here on the top left. Just so good in this deck. So good to help facilitate threatening Mask Momentum multiple times a turn. And just really, really good card. And then when you do side in Shuko for like those kind of longer games, it gets insane value off of Shuko. We have 100 Wins. Just a good 0 for 3 that also can get buffed by Breaking Skills in a pinch if you need it, and it builds upon itself, one of the more consistent lines in the deck. You have Leg Tap with 2 Rising Knee Thrust over here, but Leg Tap is a starter. Ride the Tailwind. I put this in to give a little more synergy with cards like Tiger Swipe in a real bad pinch, right? You can use it on Tiger Swipe. You can use it if it hits. You can use it with any of your blues. If you can't Katsu trigger your blue out, and you absolutely have to use it, it allows you to do that. Just some decent synergy, and it's a 0 for 3 go again. And in this deck, you kind of want a little bit more raw damage in some ways. Then we have Enlightened Strike, just amazing flexible card that most people understand. And then you have Snatch and Take the Tempo. Take the Tempo is one of the additives I have in the deck. I took out Fluster Fist and put in Soul Beat Strikes, and then I took out Head Jabs and put in Take the Tempo. Take the Tempo is so good into the swing turn. Take the Tempo and Snatch are honestly like what take that tempo turn or that swing turn that you do, the combo turn with Roar the Tiger, Art of War, and Predatory Streaks to the next level, because it forces your opponent to say, like, are you gonna are you going to block my Take the Tempo, or are you going to block my Tiger Swipe? I've had turns where it's a 5-card hand off Art of War. I play Art of War, play War with a Tiger, play Art of War, banish the one Crouching Tiger, play Predatory Streak, and then all of a sudden I have, 2 to 3 cards in hand, one of them being Take the Tempo. I pitch a blue, I Kadachi, and then I play Take the Tempo, right, on an Art of War turn. So now Take the Tempo is coming in for 6, and I'm basically saying, are you going to let me draw 2 cards here, or are you going to try to drop Tiger Swipe, or are you going to block Swipe later? Because unless they have 4 3 blocks in their hand, I'm going to get a mass trigger, or I'm going to get either Take or get Tiger Swipe to hit. And sometimes I might even get it to hit regardless if they don't have that, or a Mask of Momentum trigger to hit. It's just really good. Take the Tempo coming in for 6 on Art of War. Snatch coming in for 5 just really allows to put your opponent in a bad spot. Do they allow Snatch to hit or Take the hit, or do they allow Tiger Swipe to hit? And it just puts them in a position where they might not make the most ideal play. And then we have Soul Bead Strike, just really good. It's a 0 for 4 with potential go again, and it's a block 3. So that's where I rounded out the attacks. When it comes to combo lines, I truly think if you're running a pure Tiger Katsu list, the only viable lines are Leg Tap and 100 Wins line. Any other lines are just clunky in it. I would not use a Surging Strike line. It feels horrible drawing into it off Art of War. Even just horrible drawing into Whelming Gust Wave. It takes up so much of your deck, because if you run Surging Strike, Whelming Gust Wave, McGinty, and Lord of Wind, that is minimum 11 cards in your deck. So it's just a lot for right now. I don't suggest it. And then all the other lines are just kind of like not as ideal. So this is what I have for the main attack suite here. Then over here in this little section here, we have 15 cards that are not attacks. Now I know my normal, law with Katsu or with Ninja in general is to not go over 12 to 13 cards that don't attack. But in this deck, you kind of have to. And honestly, the 13th, 14th, and 15th cards that aren't attacks in the deck are basically attacks, which is Roar the Tiger, right? But we're running 3 Ancestral Empowerment, 3 Pred Streak, 3 Razor Reflex, 3 Art of War, and 3 Roar the Tiger. Is kind of the going right now. I wouldn't cut any of these. They all are super important to the deck. I will say when I sub in my Sink Belows, usually 1 or 2 Predatory Streaks come out, and then maybe 1 Razor. Because I want to keep the 3 blocks in the deck. It just really depends. But yeah, overall, that's what it is. And then down here, we have our combo cards. We have 3 Tiger Swipe and 2 Rise and Knee Thrust, and that's it. That's the only combo cards we have in the deck other than 100 Wins. So be that as well. When it comes to blues, I run 15 in the deck. Some people are going as low as 12 or 9, which is fine. I understand you're trying to put more threats in the deck, but right now, Katsu's strength over Fi is his flexibility and his ability to utilize his Kadachis really effectively, and his ability to be able to pitch a little bit more into cards or decks like Icelander. So if you take away that ability, you take away Katsu's strength. So I personally would, in this meta, would not run less than 15 blues because of Icelander. If you run 12 blues, even with the Belittle package, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. A good Icelander is just going to beat you, in my opinion, or at least go 50-50 with you, and I don't want that. I want to have these 15 blues plus my 2 minnows against Icelander, to be completely honest. We're running 100 Wins, obviously, for synergy with the other 100 Wins and with Winds of Eternity. It's a good combo card. Extends turns on Art of War, comes in for 2 on Art of War turns, and just, basically is another attack. We have Blue Snatch here for the obvious synergy with Ride the Tailwind, and then also just to force a little bit more interaction with our opponent. I like playing Blue Snatch at the end of a chain if I have to, because I'm not going to snap it. I'm just trying to get a good arsenal, right? And unless I draw to a blue, I'm okay with arsenaling any other card in my deck, to be honest with you. Soul Bead Strike, just an amazing Ninja Blue. Attacks for 2, potential go again with a 3 block. Winds of Eternity for 100 Wins line, and then Rise and Knee Thrust I put in because, again, a little bit more synergy with Leg Tap, give Leg Tap a little bit more targets, because off of Leg Tap, if I've used my 2 Rise and Knee Thrust for some reason, I can come in 0 for 3 go again, not too bad for a blue, just really good value. But yeah, that's the basis of the main board. In the sideboard, we have a lot of equipment. So I have Mask of Pouncing Links. I'm not going to do a full sideboard guide, but I will kind of give you the gist of it. It's for Guardian, obviously. It's for Arachne. depending, if I know it's a Tempo Arachne, I'll still run Mask of Momentum, but if not, I'll run Mask of Pouncing Lynx. Again, Guardian, good into, really, Guardian's the main one, good into Icelander, although I'll still run Mask of Momentum in the Icelander at times, but Mask of Pouncing Lynx is the main card for that. And really, Control Dash, if I know it's a Control Dash, I'll run Mask of Pouncing Lynx, to be honest. So that's kind of the gist of it. Blazing Yori is in here for the 5 matchup. 5 still very relevant in the meta, one of the top decks. I like this card because it equalizes that matchup. It really, really, really does. Being able to negate 1 Lava Burst for free is really nice. Being able to negate 1 Salt the Wound. I notice a lot of 5s will like try to go a Lava Burst, snap Mask of Pouncing Lynx into Salt the Wound. So this at least helps negate that really big power turn. So it's literally in there for 5, and that's it. And then we have 3 Null Rune. We run most of the time three in both Icelander and Kano. I've been debating between AB2 and AB3 into Icelander, but we shall see. Right now it's still AB3. And then we have Shuko, basically for any matchup that's going to go long or a matchup that needs Dominate. So Bravo, Oldheim, Dorinthia, Control Dash, Arachne, all of them will have Shuko in them. So, and then for sideboard cards, not a whole lot. We have Sink Belows for cards or decks that need defense reactions, right? Guardian, Arachne, Dorinthia. Honestly, I sometimes plays in the mirror. It just all depends, because sometimes you might not get that pred streak turn, so having these to block out like a leg tap or like a whelming gust wave or something like that with like a block from your breaking skills is really nice. But yeah, we do have those. Then we have the Belittle package for Icelander and for Kano right now, and for Oldheim, honestly, to help mix up our pitch. That's really it. It's really simple, because what the deck wants to do, everything in this deck is so core to what the deck's trying to do that it's really hard to really play anything else. And I'll kind of try to really quickly, if you all can give me 2 seconds to give me time to like set up a kind of a game state for you, and kind of give you an understanding of what this deck wants to do, and just kind of go from there, right? So we'll kind of talk about the deck itself and like what the power turn looks like really fast, kind of give you like, if y'all can give me like 2 minutes for this deck tech, just to kind of give y'all a little bit better understanding of what the deck is trying to do. And then I'll also kind of show you like best case scenarios into it, obviously. But hopefully y'all are having a good time. Hopefully y'all are excited for ProQuest season. I know I am. Really looking forward to it, to be honest. And yeah, so the point of this deck, you're not just like hoping and praying for this turn, but this turn is what definitively can win you games, especially if your opponent does not block properly, right? So your equipment suite, obviously we're not going to go too crazy here. It's the standard. We're going to say you're on Tunic resource here. So you've been sitting on Tunic. And then we're going to say that your hand is this. You have Art of War and Arsenal. I'm just going to put it down here. And then this is your hand. It doesn't matter what this card is. Ideally, you'd want it to be like a starter. So let's just say like the most ideal possible hand is like this. Right? And then what you're wanting to do, honestly, not even the blue, but I'm going to try to be a little bit realistic here. I'm going to not try to get like the dream freaking hell of a drug type hand. So what you're wanting to do is you're going to use the Crouching Tiger from Roar of the Tiger, and you're going to use that as your discard for Art of War, right? So, ideally, honestly, yeah, we'll do kind of like it's not really a dream turn, but this is a really good turn, obviously. But let's just replace this with like another starter, right? So you use your Tunic resource, right? You play Art of War basically for free, right? You still have these 4 cards in your hand, or you play Roar of the Tiger first, right? Create a Crouching Tiger. So now you have a Crouching Tiger in your hand. You then play Art of War for free off your Tunic resource, or for 1, obviously not for free, but you don't have to use a card from hand in order to do it. You banish your Crouching Tiger that you just made, and you draw 2. The ideal thing that you draw into in this situation is ideally either take the tempo or snatch. We'll just say take the tempo for argument's sake. And then let's just say, for the fun of it, like an E-strike. Doesn't matter what we draw into here. I'm not going to go most ideal lines. I'm just going to kind of give you the gist of it. So at this point, you now have a 5-card hand. You all your tigers get +1, and Art of War is going to give everything else +1. You then play your predatory streak here, creating 3 crouching tigers in your banish zone. I'm just going to put them here for reference. Right. So now you're sitting on in this hand. Right, and this is why you actually want the blue over like another starter. Sorry, I'm fumbling through this just a little bit, but I'm going to give you all the gist. We won't do another starter. So now you have 3 crouching tigers. You essentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks here. And really what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to discard this last card for Tiger Swipe. So, here's what I like to do in this situation. Here's why I like having a blue with like a take the tempo, right? Before Crouching Tiger is even played, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch here, and I'm going to Kadachi twice, right? I'm going to make my opponent interact with me before he even sees the Crouching Tigers. I'm going to spend 2 for Kadachis. He can choose to block that second Kadachi if he wants. And then I'm going to use my third resource for take the tempo for 6. Now he has a choice to make. Is he going to block that take the tempo? Because if he doesn't, I'm going to get to banish the top card off my deck. If it's an attack, which is highly likely in this deck, then I'm going to get another card to play this turn basically, right? Even if I have no resources left, I still right now am I've dealt 8 damage this turn, and I'm threatening a draw if he does not block it out. Most of the time, because Tiger Swipe they know Tiger Swipe's going to come at some point, they're not going to block it out. But let's say he does block it out. Well, now I can play Crouching Tiger, 100 wins. I'm forcing another mass draw, right? I still have 1 tiger in here. One of these is going to have hit. So at this point, I've discarded that last card with 0 in it, and then I search up and go get my Tiger Swipe. And my opponent at this point knows that I have Tiger Swipe, right? So at this point, they know that what I have left in hand is 1 Tiger Swipe and 1 Crouching Tiger. But I'm threatening Mask again, right? So now I have threatened Mask twice, and I've dealt 2, 6, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 plus 4, 16 damage, right? I've dealt 16 damage, not counting any mass draws. And then we have Crouching Tiger to make it 18 damage. And then we play Tiger Swipe, which gets +2 buff from the combo ability. So it's 20, 22, and then +1 from Art of War, 23 damage. So 23 damage turn over the course of 8 links. And if this hits, then I'm going to create another 6 points of damage with these 3 Tiger Swipes and another mass draw potential. So this is just like a decent turn. This is not counting any mass draws or any triggers. Then I've now dealt 26 damage, and I've threatened mass twice. Now, if I draw at any point into these, it could get even worse, right? Like if they let one of those hit and I draw into a Ride the Tailwind, that's another 4 points of damage, right? Or even so, I draw into another 100 wins, a double strike, even an Enlightened Strike, sinking a card, like depending on the situation, a Soul Bead Strike for 5. Like you can see what can happen in this turn. I've even had turns where it's been really, really dumb, where I've drawn into like a predatory streak, like way late in the chain, and then I just play it out again because they made there's a bunch of other stuff you can do. I've even had crazy nutty turns where I've drawn into another Tiger Swipe off, like, let's say Snatch hits and I draw off of Mask and Snatch and I snap it, and then I draw into a Tiger Swipe. Well, now all of a sudden I'm playing Crouching Tiger, Tiger Swipe, Crouching Tiger, 100 wins, Crouching Tiger, Tiger Swipe. You can see how these turns can get out of control if your opponent does not block correctly. So I know it's a little messy, but I kind of wanted to give a minor just example of what this deck can do. And that that turn seems like it's kind of like pipe dreamy, but it's really not. I mean, that's like one of your better situations, but that's not a whole lot of setup. All you have to do is put Art of War and Arsenal, and then have Roar the Tiger and Predatory Shriek in the same hand. What the other cards don't matter. Really, those are the 3 cards: Art of War and Arsenal, and then Predatory Shriek and Roar the Tiger in the same hand. If you have that, then you have your setup, right? So that kind of gives you an idea. So what hurts this deck? Icelander obviously does not feel good into this deck. Does not bode well. You definitely have to play smart on those like pop off turns, because if you don't, she'll just stop your entire turn and it feels really bad. But you can play around it. Same thing with Oldheim with Blizzard. You have to really hold 2 resources. In situations like that, I won't Kadachi first, and I won't do like that take the tempo line, because I want to be able to pay for that Blizzard if I have to. So there's definitely some like play lines and like, you know, type plays to it, but overall it's not too hard to get off, especially against like the rest of the meta that isn't ice involved. In those turns, what I just showed you, that's the reason I like Mask of Momentum over Mask of Pouncing Lynx, because in those situations, I don't threaten Mask of Trigger on Take the Tempo. I don't threaten Mask Trigger on that 100 wins. Yes, I can threaten Goo and double Tiger Swipes, but I'd much rather threaten, you know, 2 draws off a Take the Tempo or 2 draws off a Snatch. You already have Katsu tutors. You already can go get 1 swipe, maybe 2 if you already have 1 in your hand. So why would I not play something that's going to allow me to draw even more, right? That's just the way I look at it. I think both sides are really good. It just depends kind of how you play the deck. How I play the deck benefits more to Mask of Momentum than it does Mask of Pouncing Lynx. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully it made sense. I want to try to give a little more in-depth to this one than the Arachne one, just because I know that turn can be a little weird. I'm trying to explain it. But yeah, I'll definitely be taking this to ProQuest, see how I do with it. The deck definitely has legs. I don't know why people keep discrediting this deck. I guess they just think Fi is better. Fi is really good, and he is better than Katsu at some things, but Katsu is also better than Fi at other things, in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully you like this. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what type of videos you'd like to see. If you want to join the Discord down below, please do. We have a lot of fun in there. You don't have to be a ninja player. We talk about Assassin. We talk about One Piece. We talk about just Fab in general. So definitely check it out. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, hopefully I see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much and have a great night.